Welcome back to the Vegas Nose podcast, brought to you by BuckeyeScoop.com. I am your host, Marc Givler. This is the Thursday, October 8th episode, so we're gearing up for Week 5 in the NFL, and we are gearing up for another strong week of college football. I am joined, as always, by Bill Greene, and we have a special guest this week, the legendary Paddyoherald from our message board, a guy with a long track record of winning seasons when it comes to picking these NFL and college games. One of the more respected posters when it comes to making predictions and things like that. So we're going to have a three-person roundtable here this week. As always, we start with college football. I'm going to let Bill lead us off here. I know he's got a bunch of picks this week. Bill, why don't you start us off with one of your top picks for the week?
Yeah, Mark, had a good week last week, went 3-1, and that got me back to the Mendoza line. I'm now 7-7-1 on the year. I've actually had like 3 winning Saturdays, only 1 losing Saturday, but man, that losing Saturday was a disaster. So, hey, back to even, and on we go. First game I'm looking at is I'm going back to the well again with a team that has burned me before, but I just think they're the better team. And I'm taking Texas plus the 2 points against Oklahoma. Tom Herman is a dog, has been money for years, and Tom Herman is a favorite, has been a money burner for years. So I'm going with Texas here. I'm taking Tom Herman one more time. If I lose with him again, I'll never take them again the rest of my life, I promise. But Texas plus 2.
And I'm going to jump in here real quick because that is one of my plays is involved in that game. I'm going to go with the over of 72, which I know is an enormous amount of points, but I've watched a lot of these two teams this year and they are completely explosive on offense and they can't stop a soul. So I'm not playing the 2 either way, but I am going to take the over 72. That's one of my plays. Patty, do you have any action on this game, or, if not, what's one of your top plays for this week?
I do not have any action on that game. It's going to be a fun game to watch. Not sure if they're still having the state fair or not. Is
they
that
are not
canceled? I'm not sure.
Yep. No state fair.
No state fair. So just the game.
Nope. Just the game.
Yeah. No action on that. It should be a good game. Both teams struggling a little bit, but no action on that game. One of my top plays though this week is North Carolina State. Plus the 9.5. They're a pretty good team, well coached. They could score some points. Virginia's offense isn't that great. They really struggled, obviously, against Clemson. The Pack's pretty good. I like them a lot this week. I think that line's dropping a little bit. I got in early at 9.5, so that's one of my top plays. NC State plus the 9.5.
Now, Patty, for those who might be listening a little bit later and may not get the 9.5, if it's at 7.5, 8 this weekend, would you still take the points there, or does that change anything for you for people who may not have got their picks in yet?
I like that play. I think NC State can win that game straight up. I think it'll be a tight game. So yes, if the line drops maybe to 7.5, I'd still jump on NC State, plus, more than a touchdown. I do like it.
Sure. Cool. Bill, you guys told me kind of before we got on, we didn't discuss the specifics of the picks, but I know you guys both have quite a few you like this weekend. Bill, what's up next for you?
Yeah, for me, I'm going to go against one of my dudes here. Matt Campbell had a huge win last week as an underdog. He's another one dangerous as a dog. They don't usually cover a lot of spreads, though, and this is a big one. They're giving Texas Tech 12.5, and I'm going to take Texas Tech plus that 12.5. I didn't think Texas Tech was going to be any good at all this year, and I've only watched them play one time, and I liked what I saw the day I watched them. So I'm going to roll with Texas Tech plus the points, thinking maybe Iowa State has a little bit of a hangover. I don't think this is one of Matt's stronger teams this year. He did upset Oklahoma. So we'll see if there's a little letdown coming off that. But I'm going to take the points here in Texas Tech, plus 12.5.
Patty, what's up next for you?
I love one of my big plays this week is Temple minus the 3.5. Saying Navy has struggled would be kind. You know, they've played maybe 2 good quarters of football. Outside of that, they've been pretty awful, Navy. Temple's a good team. They're going to run the ball just like Navy. I think that 3.5, even though they haven't played a game yet, I think they're going to come out, play pretty tough, and cover that 3.5 pretty easily. I think they win by, double digits. So that's one of my bigger plays. Temple minus the 3.5.
Good. And I do not have action on any of those games. Kind of staying away from a few of those. But what I do like is I'm looking here. I'm looking in the ACC, and I'm kind of going to throw this one out here now because it is one of the bigger games of the weekend, and I'm going to be kind of curious to see if you guys have any thoughts on this. I may be going against the grain here. I'm not sure. I am taking Miami, Florida plus 14 against Clemson. I'm taking the 2 touchdowns. I don't think they're going to beat Clemson. I've watched Clemson and Miami really both a bit this year, and I think Clemson's good. Obviously, I think the world of Trevor Lawrence. I don't see quite the defense they had last year. I don't think the weapons on the outside are quite what they had last year. I think they've had a pretty easy go of it so far on the schedule. And I look for them to probably win the game, but more in the 7 to 10 point range. This is going to be Miami's Super Bowl. And the mobile quarterback is kind of the great equalizer when you don't have quite the talent of your opponent. So I think De'Aaron King will make some plays, keep that one pretty close. So I am taking the 14. That I may be on the wrong side of that in terms of what the general public or what the experts may feel about that. But I'm curious. We'll start with you, Bill. Do you have any thoughts on that game, or is that one of yours on your card, or kind of your thoughts there?
Yeah, I just think Manny Diaz is such a horrible coach, but I'm kind of scared off because of De'Aaron King, because of what he can do. And I thought the line was right where it should be at 14. And I just, like I say, it didn't do anything with that game at all. I see your reasoning there. I just want to wait and see. I want to see King against a big time talent like Clemson. So I stayed out of that one. And my third pick that I've got was Kansas State plus the 9 against TCU. I think Kansas State's a better team. I think Kleiman's a better coach. I think I love this team. I love what I've seen out of them this year. They got upset week 1, but I think K-State can win this game. And if not, I feel pretty good taking 9 points with them.
Patty, do you have anything on the Clemson-Miami game? And if not, what's your next one?
I absolutely love the points. I'm with you all the way.
Oh, that makes me feel good. I didn't know. See, I did not. We don't discuss this before, so now you're building my confidence. Thank you. Go ahead, continue.
Love it. Love the 14. If you can get the hook, I think it might go up to 14.5. I think King is gonna have a little coming out party. I mean, he's a great player. He's been close to flawless so far. He's creative. He's experienced. He's the type of quarterback that can be a game changer. They got the number 1 offense in the ACC so far. I know Clemson's Clemson, but I just think Miami's going to keep this game tight. They're going to score some points. I'm with you. They may lose by, a touchdown. But I love what Rhett Lachey's doing with the offense, the offensive coordinator. Probably Diaz's best move, bringing that guy in. Obviously, with the quarterback, that makes a huge difference, getting King. But they're just a good team. I think this is the biggest game since the last regular season final against Virginia Tech in 2002 before they played Ohio State. So this is a big game. I think Miami's going to come out and play really well.
All right, Bill, what's your next play?
I'm going to the SEC here, and I'm going to take Alabama over the total of 69.5. I know it's a ton of points. I just think that Alabama offense is so awesome. I think they could get real close to that number on their own. And I also think so much of Lane Kiffin is an offensive mind. I know he's, kind of a goofball and all that, but the guy can coach offense. We saw last year, early in the year, that, he played Ohio State and he moved the ball against Ohio State all day long when nobody in the Big Ten could move the ball on Ohio State early in the year. So I think, there are going to be a ton of points scored in this game. I'm counting on Nick for 50-52. I'm counting on Lane Kiffin for 20. And I'm going to take the Bama Ole Miss game over the 69.5.
Okay. I have not touched that game. Going to go back to what I said. I almost took Ole Miss in the points against Kentucky, and I should have. And I'm in that same boat this week where I haven't played the game. I probably won't. I'll probably chicken out. I won't add it to the board later, like I sometimes say I will. And but Ole Miss plus 23.5 is interesting to me. I think Lane's going to pull out all the stops. But going to be interesting. Haven't played it yet. Thinking about it. Patty, what's your next play?
I'm in the SEC as well, but I'm going to go with Florida minus the 6.5. They look really, really good. Gators are playing both sides of the ball. They're fantastic. A&M struggling a little bit. I know Florida's on the road, given a touchdown, but I really like Florida this week. It's one of my top plays as well to go with the Canes. Florida minus 6.5 at College Station.
Well, I don't know if I should be feeling really good right now or if you should be very nervous, but I also have Florida minus 6.5. I am not on a roll. I started the season pretty good. I was very conservative, just picking the game or two a week, and it got away from me the last 2 weeks. I'm 1-6 the last 2 weeks after I believe it was a 3-1 start. So I am struggling these last 2 weeks, but I am also on Florida. So I'm either bringing you down to my level or I'm bouncing back this week, one or the other, but
we'll be fine.
I like that as well. Fine. Yeah. I think Alabama's really good. I think Alabama's better than people think. So I wasn't too surprised by last week's result against Texas A&M, but just boy, A&M just didn't, not much of a fight there. And Florida is just humming. So I will lay those 6.5 on the road. I like the Gators. I think they're a legitimate title contender, to be honest. I think they're one of the 4 or 5 best teams. So, I like that one. Bill, what's up next for you?
Yeah, I like Florida. I didn't take them. I was just, I was a little concerned there about their defense. And, I thought about it. I may still add it to the board. Dan Mullen's been money on the road too, so there's really no worry about him taking that team to College Station. That really good as a road, so road favorite or road dog. So like Mullen there. My pick, I'm going back to the SEC as well, and I'm going to ride with Kentucky. I think Kentucky is so much better than what their record is. Last week, they had our Ohio guy, AJ Rose, celebrating on a 75-yard touchdown run, throwing the deuces up at about the 15-yard line, getting caught, fumbling on the 1-yard line. The week before, they go to overtime. They miss an extra point in overtime. So I think Kentucky's pretty good. I think defensively, I think they can answer what Mike Leach is going to come up with. I don't believe in Mississippi State at all. I do like Mike Leach, but I just think Stoops and that defense and the fact that this team is hungry at 0-2, I think Kentucky beats Mississippi State. Only going to lay in 1.5 there. Just got to win the game. So I'm going to roll with roll to Wildcats there.
I initially looked at that, and that's what I would play if I had to play that game. I just as I was kind of thinking it out to myself and kind of talking it out to myself, I came to the realization that I have no idea what Mississippi State is right now. because I think they've given us two very different performances the last couple of weeks. And I just don't know. They make me very nervous. And so I think you're probably on the right side of that, though. I looked at that very closely. I ultimately did not pull the trigger. Patty, what's up next for you?
I'm staying in the SEC, and I love Tennessee plus the 13.5. Once again, I think this line might have dropped down to 12.5. I think I saw maybe before we came on. But I'm in at 13.5 with the Vols, +3 so far in the turnover battles in their games. They don't give the ball away. They've only committed 9 penalties. They got a good running game. Garantano is playing well. He keeps things moving. They're a pretty good team. If you notice when we start posting, I got them over 7 wins in my future. I think Tennessee is a really underrated team right now. And watching Georgia last week, very good. I just think Auburn was super overrated. They looked horrible. Georgia really kind of beat them up on the line of scrimmage. Georgia's very good, but I think Tennessee keeps this close. Like I said, Garantano's a good quarterback. He'll keep the team moving. They'll score some points. I like, more than 2 touchdowns. I love Tennessee plus 13.5.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because the over-under right now that I'm seeing is only 43. So that's obviously they're expecting a low-scoring game, and if it's going to be low-scoring, it's going to be hard for Georgia to cover that. So if Tennessee can just get 2 touchdowns on offense, they're in pretty good shape to cover if that over-under's in the neighborhood. So that's an interesting one for me. I didn't play it, but I can definitely see that there. I will give my final pick and then turn it back over to you guys, and you guys can finish off your cards. But, God, this is funny because I bet on them to cover the couple weeks ago, and they were that was one you could have ripped the ticket up about 10 minutes into the game. I've got Notre Dame minus 20.5 against Florida State. Florida State is about the worst Power 5 team I think I've ever seen in my life. I think they're done. Man, I'm going to be so mad when they cover, but I think Notre Dame is going to beat the life out of Florida State. So I am laying 20.5 on that, but if what I've seen out of Florida State the last few weeks is accurate, that's going to be a total blowout. So that's the last of my picks. Bill, what do you have left here?
Yeah, I have one, and it's my top pick of the week. It's the one I'll have the most money on, and it's Notre Dame minus 20.5. Okay. And again, we never talk about this stuff beforehand, and you gave all my reasons. And I'm with you 1,000%. I think the Notre Dame defense is really, really good. I can't believe Florida State has any interest in coming up there on a Saturday night and competing against the team that's that physical as Notre Dame. Notre Dame doesn't have a lot of great weapons, don't have a lot of speed, but they're going to knock you in the mouth. They have a great O-line, and I think the more they beat on Florida State, I think Florida State will pack it in sometime early in the second half, and I think that game ends up 42-10 or somewhere in that line. So, yeah, that's my top play of the week, Mark. I'm riding with Notre Dame.
Patty, what do you have left out there on the card?
My last pick, I'm staying in the SEC, and I'm going with LSU minus 14. I know the game was supposed to be played in Baton Rouge, but they've moved it to Columbia. I don't think that makes a difference. Next to Florida State, the second worst team in football that I've seen is Missouri. They're awful, just awful. Their defense can't get off the field on third down. LSU got it going last week, blowing out Vandy. And I think they keep it rolling. There's too many weapons, too much talent. I just think they, win this game, 40-20, 42-24, one of those type of games. I love LSU minus the 14.
All right, so we had a very heavy SEC card. I think all of us have something going on in the SEC this weekend. That's where a lot of the interesting games are probably. Of course, the Red River Shootout's going to be interesting in Clemson, Miami, but there's a lot of interesting games in the SEC, and so we have a lot of action there, and we'll see how that goes, and hopefully I can bounce back. How did you do last week, Bill, on college? Did you bounce back a little bit, because we kind of got punched in the mouth 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think I went 3-1 last week in the college. 3-1-1 because I tied that Cincinnati game. I couldn't get one more point out of Luke and Marcus Freeman there. So, but no, I had a really good week. I was very happy with that, and kind of feel like I'm seeing the ball again and feeling better, about college stuff. Just had the one real horrible Saturday, and I guess that can happen.
Yeah, so. I didn't do a whole. I mean, I was 1-2 last weekend. I'm not going to sit here and complain. A bounce or two. I mean, you can say that almost these games. Vegas does such a good job on these games that it's just the way it goes. So I maybe get some better fortune this week, but still kind of a struggle here. College football's usually a little easier for me than the NFL. It's not the case this year at all. For whatever reason, I'm not getting my pulse on things correctly. So we'll see. Hopefully I have a lot of overlap with you guys in terms of games we all like. So we'll see how that plays out. But let's move on to the NFL. I have continued to have success on the NFL. I was 2-1-1 last weekend on the NFL. I almost got to 3-1 there at the end. I had the over in the Vikings Texans game, and Will Fuller just couldn't quite haul that in there at the end. Would have put me over, but we'll take the push on that. Another winning week in the NFL. I have a pretty good season record there. I'm a few games over 500, and every week's been pretty solid. I think my worst week is 2-2. So I've been doing a pretty good job in the NFL. I know, Bill, that's not been your specialty. Did you bounce back last week on NFL?
Yeah, I went 2-1 last week, which is probably end up being the best week I'll have in the NFL the rest of my life. Probably. It's just not my thing. It never has been. I love it. I love betting it, but I bet really small. And like I say, it's not my thing, but 6-8 on the year in the NFL. And, my first pick is, I think I take this team every single week and they lose every single week, like on a heartbreaker. And then I think I hate this team. I hate this coach. They're losers. And then I look next week and it's like, well, they have to win this week. They have to. They got so much talent offensively that I'm going back and taking Atlanta again, -1.5 playing Carolina. I really think I've had Atlanta almost every week so far, and they lose in the most god-awful ways a team could lose. Other than I did not have them last week against Green Bay, though, but I think I had them every other week. But I just think they're better than Carolina. And, they've got weapons offensively. I think it could be a shootout. And I just think Matt Ryan and Julio and those guys are going to outscore Teddy Bridgewater this week. So I'm back to the well with Atlanta -1.5 over Carolina.
I have to jump in here before we kick it over to Patty for his first NFL pick. I am also on Atlanta. I got -1 right now. That's what I got in on today. So here we go again, though. I have bet against Carolina twice. I have bet their opponent to cover, and both times they have made me look ridiculous. So they are my Achilles heel this season, and I'm going back to the well again, betting against the Carolina Panthers. I'm taking Atlanta -1. We will see what happens. Maybe the third time will be a charm for me. Patty, what do you have here in the NFL? What do you like?
Well, I got to join you. That's
oh, here we go. All right, all three of us.
I had them versus the Bears as well. It was a disaster. I just think they're due for a win. I mean, gosh, it can't go bad every week for them. Matt Ryan's a great quarterback, and I think they'll do just fine and cover that one. Carolina's not very good, so I like Atlanta -1. I'm with you.
Yeah, I got a couple of picks in early this week. unfortunately, the last pick I made, I didn't get in as early as I would have liked. I am also a Browns backer this weekend. That's another team that burned me early in the season. I had them covering against the Ravens. And again, the Colts have been like the Panthers to me. I continually bet against the Colts, and they continually, or I think the Colts are going to lose or whatever. I know last week with the Bears, we talked about, the Bears should win this game. And sure enough, they did not. The Colts have kind of been a thorn in my side as well. I unfortunately did not get the +2 I was seeing out there earlier in the week. I just got to pick them. So I'm taking the Browns in just a money line to beat the Colts. Bill, what's up next for you?
Well, I'm taking the Browns. It's probably my favorite.
We both got burned by them week 1, so maybe we'll get burned by them together again.
Yeah, exactly. And I just, let's a full disclosure here. I'm a big Steeler fan. I think the Browns are the best team in the division. I know they got killed by the Ravens early. I think they're going to be standing in the end. I really like this team. I love the way they run the ball. They're so much more physical this year than what they were last year under Freddie. I think Stefanski has brought a lot to this team. I think Baker's growing up. The weapons on the outside are sick. The offensive line is just murdering people. They're running the ball. I think they're going to control this game against Indy. I think they're the better team, and I think they're going to win. And I'm going with the Browns, Mark. I'm with you there. Cleveland +1.
Okay, so you got it in before it got to a pick. Yeah, I was like +2, +2.5 early in the week. And there's been 1 or 2 games in the NFL this year that I got as soon as it came out, I'm like, oh, I got to have that. And I probably should have done that here, but oh well. Patty, what do you have coming up for the NFL? What's another one of your plays?
I'm on the Browns as well.
Wow, here we go.
I love it. Bill, you summed it up. I mean, I think they can run the ball. I think they're the better team. They're playing good, and the Colts are a very good team, very good defensively. But I think Kareem Hunt's going to have a big game now that he's going to be the man. And like you said, Baker's growing up, and they got weapons all over the field. So I think they win this game straight up. I really do. It's going to be a great game and fun to watch, and I love the Browns +1.
Man, you guys got in there before it got to the pick 'em. I'm getting the bad end of this. So they're gonna lose by a point. That's what's gonna happen. All right, Bill. I know you got some more picks here. What's next for you?
Yeah, I got 2 more NFL picks. The first one is the team they're not very good, but they play hard from the time they put the ball on the tee until the time the referees tell them to leave the field. And that's the Miami Dolphins. And they're playing San Francisco this week. I don't think San Francisco is anywhere near the team they were last year. And Miami, again, not super talented, but I think Brian Flores is great. And I think that team plays their ass off week after week after week. They're getting 9 points. I think that's a lot of points in the NFL, especially for a team that plays as hard as they do. So I think Miami hangs in there. Maybe they get one in the end to cover that number. Maybe Fitzpatrick has some magic in the end. But yeah, I'm going to take the Dolphins +9 against San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco's got some issues right now. Got some big issues right now. So that should be that's a big number in the NFL. 9's a big number, even in ideal circumstances. So that's interesting. Patty, what do you have next?
My last NFL pick is the Bengals +13.5. I think being a big division game, I think Burrow's going to have a good game. I think they're going to play Baltimore pretty tough. It's going to be a division battle. Cincinnati's not that bad. Baltimore, I think, is due to have an off week, and I like the Bengals +13.5, getting 2 touchdowns. Really love it.
Yeah. I mean, kind of same logic as the last as Bill's pick. That's just I'm not saying teams don't cover those spreads in the NFL ever, but it's a lot of points. I mean, that's a lot of points to cover in an NFL game, and so I never really, hesitate when I hear someone's taking points like at that level at the NFL. I mean, generally NFL games are close games, even against bad teams. So that could be interesting. And yeah, it seems like Cincinnati, as someone who has Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon on one of my fantasy teams, seems like Cincinnati's starting to get a little life together. I know it was just Jacksonville last week, but seem to be playing better. Bill, I think you got one more in the NFL, right?
Yeah, one more. And after crowing a few minutes ago how 9 points is too many points in the NFL to give, here I am taking a team given 9, and I am backing Dallas. And, good luck with that, I guess. But, I don't know how the Giants stay on the field with Dallas. I think the Dallas defense is so god-awful, but, can Daniel Jones exploit them? Does he have enough weapons to put any points on the board against them? I would think this week in practice, Mike McCarthy's going to have their attention. They have to be embarrassed as can be. It was how Cleveland trampled them last week. So I think Dallas, comes up with a little bit better defensive effort, especially with the fact that New York is so inept offensively. There's no Saquon Barkley there. So, and I think Dallas is going to score like they do every week. They're going to get their 35, and I don't see how the Giants get more than 17. So normally I just, I don't like this Dallas team. I don't think it's a team you really want to bet on often, but I think is a good spot for them this week to just annihilate the Giants.
You're probably safe there. And if I were anyone that's listening to this, you should probably bet Dallas this week, because I'm not betting Dallas after they've burned me a couple times already this year. I've lost 2. One was a heartbreaker against Seattle. The other one was just a weird game against that Atlanta game. But they have just not been good to me this year. And so I'm staying away from that game, even though my initial reaction when I saw the line was, oh, that's an easy cover for Dallas. I just can't bring myself to do it. I hate Dallas as much as it is. So when they don't cover for me, it's too much. So I'm staying away, which probably is good news for everybody else. You should probably bet Dallas. I will wrap up our NFL picks. I have 2 left. I'll get the first one out of the way real quick here. I am taking Arizona -7 at the Jets. The Jets are a train wreck. Arizona's cooled off a little bit after a really good start to the year, but nothing. If there's a slump buster right now in the NFL, it's the Jets. So I think Kyler will have a big game. I know the weather, I think, is supposed to be a bit of an issue, so that could maybe hinder things a little bit. I just think the Jets are horrendous. And, I had some success a couple weeks ago. It was a similar line. It actually was exactly 7 again with the 49ers a few weeks ago, and they didn't have their quarterback. They had these injuries, and I was like, I don't care. I'm still taking the 49ers, and it was one of the easiest covers I've had in a long time, and I'm going to go back to that. I'm going to take the Cardinals -7 at the Jets. I don't see how the Cardinals don't win that game by at least 2 touchdowns. My last one, and this may make some people happy, because if there's one thing I've done well this year, it's bet the Eagles games. And I am not playing the line on this. I have an over-under play. I don't have a good feel for the 7. I don't love it for the Steelers, but really I am not seeing how the Eagles are actually going to formulate any offense with that offensive line against that Steelers defense. So I think that's going to be tricky. So the play I think is the right play in this game is I got under 45, and I am rolling with that. I think the Steelers are going to win. I don't know. Again, I just don't know if they're going to cover that, though. I think it's going to be an ugly game. I think there's going to be turnovers. Hopefully not to the point where it puts you in a bad spot where, teams are having 20, 30-yard touchdown drives and driving up the over. But I think that's going to be a low-scoring game, under 45. Trying to go 3-0 on anything Eagles this year if I can get that one. So we'll see what happens. So that's my play there. Bill, you're a Steelers fan. What do you guys think of that Eagles Steelers game while we're all here together? What do you think, Bill?
Yeah, for me, I kind of saw it the way you did. I think low-scoring game, and I thought 7 was a great number. Right where it should be. I think Pittsburgh will win, but I don't see him blowing the Eagles out. I thought the line was perfect there, and I just stayed away from it.
Yeah, Patty, what do you am I crazy on that under, or what do you think? Did you even look at that one?
On the
The
Philly,
Steelers,
Pittsburgh
Eagles.
game?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was kind of leaning towards Philly plus the 7. I think it'll be a tight game. I think that both teams are very good. Philly hasn't been playing too good, but they're a good team. They'll play Pittsburgh pretty tough. The over/under, I think they're going to score some points. So, if I was leaning one way, I'd go with the over.
Yeah. I just, I'm not feeling that Eagles offensive line against that Steelers defense, but we'll see. It's like I've been talking with Bill all year. It's the games that everyone thinks the Eagles should win that they lose. And then it's the ones where you kind of, oh, they're dead and they're big underdogs. And this is, and those are the ones they end up, pulling something out. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. A lot of good football this weekend. So we're excited to kind of see how this plays out. We appreciate everyone listening. Thank you, Patty, for coming on. He'll have his picks on the board if he doesn't already. I'm sure Bill and I will get our picks up on the board after the podcast runs. We always post those like Friday morning. So we'll post them. So there's, a record of them so there's some evidence, and we'll see if we add anything to it between now and kickoff, but appreciate everyone listening and good luck this weekend. We'll see you next week.